All right, so are you ready to dive deep into some really fascinating stuff?
I am.
You guys have sent us this collection of texts,
Yeah.
prayers, charms,
Yeah.
rituals,
Right.
even songs, all focused on Cain.
Hmm.
It's called the Psalter of Cain,
Yeah.
and it mixes folklore and magic and, well, a
Yeah.
little bit of darkness.
A touch of the macabre, I
Of,
think you could say.
yeah.
Yeah.
This Psalter's take on Cain as this sorcerer, not just the sinner,
Right.
is really intriguing.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how its creators viewed the relationship between magic and religion.
That's interesting.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's fascinating how this text pulls together elements from different traditions.
Okay.
Arabian astromancy, Christian symbolism, even hints of ancient Sumerian myth.
Wow.
There's definitely a syncretic approach here,
Well,
meaning they're combining different belief systems.
right.
But what's really interesting is that Cain is presented not just as the first murderer,
Right.
but as the first sorcerer.
The first sorcerer.
He's the source of magic and occult knowledge.
So it's not the Cain we might remember from Sunday school.
Exactly. He's almost like a Prometheus figure.
Oh, okay.
Someone who dared to reach for forbidden knowledge and paid the price.
And that idea of exile, of being cast out, that's a big theme in the Psalter, right?
Huge. Yeah.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
It's not seen as a punishment, but as the source of power.
Oh, interesting.
Almost like a necessary step in the sorcerer's journey.
It's as if being cast out, being separate from the conventional, gives the sorcerer a different kind of wisdom,
Yeah.
a hidden knowledge only available to those willing to walk alone.
Right.
The Psalter calls this the crooked path.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Oh.
We've got the 7 dedications of exile, framing it as this essential part of the sorcerer's path.
Right.
And then there's this idea of the crooked path, this unique solitary road to knowledge. What I don't get is, how does exile connect to the text's emphasis on Cain and the moon?
Ah, that's where Arabian astromancy comes in.
Okay.
The Psalter links Cain to the moon, particularly the 28 lunar mansions.
Okay.
Now, these mansions are like segments of the moon's path through the sky, each associated with a specific jinn and its magical influence.
Oh, wow.
It's like a celestial map.
Wait, so each of these lunar mansions has its own jinn. Are they like stages in Cain's journey?
I see what you're saying.
Or are they sources of power he can tap into?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The Litany of Tom Branches,
Okay.
one of the key pieces in the Psalter,
Right.
describes Cain's journey through these mansions. So maybe it's both
Okay.
stages in his development and sources of power.
And that right there shows how the Psalter blends biblical and Arabian traditions.
Absolutely.
But it's not just in the lunar connection, right?
Yeah.
When we look at the rituals in the Psalter, there are all these different traditions mixed together.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Take the rite of the first furrow, for example. It combines agricultural rituals and blood sacrifice,
Okay.
invoking Cain as the first to work the soil.
And there's the execration.
Right?
It uses images of the serpent, the altar stone, and the divine feminine,
Yeah.
which makes me think it's pulling from both Christian and pre-Christian sources.
Exact.
Then there's the rite of 5 nails,
Okay.
with its focus on horseshoes nails, and calling upon Tubal Cain.
Right.
It seems to link blacksmithing with spiritual transformation.
It does.
Speaking of Tubal Cain,
Yeah.
the Psalter makes the blacksmith pretty important, right?
Very much so.
He's not just a descendant of Cain, but a key figure in their magical tradition.
What's fascinating here is that the forge and the act of smithing become metaphors for spiritual transformation.
I see.
It's about taking something raw and shaping it into something new, something powerful.
So they're saying the real magic isn't about spells and incantations, but about inner transformation, this internal forging.
The Hammer's song really drives that point home. It's a powerful ode to the blacksmith's craft, not just as a physical skill, but as a spiritual practice.
Then there's the benediction of the red earth. It brings back that motif of blood sacrifice and connects it to Cain and the earth itself.
Exactly.
Seems to be saying blood isn't a negative or violent element, but a vital force that connects us to the earth and to the divine.
Right. It's like this primordial energy and that striking red color.
Okay.
The red of Cain, the red of sacrifice, the red of the earth itself is a symbol of that.
It really flips the script on so many traditional ideas, doesn't it?
It does,
Exile becomes empowerment, blood becomes sacred, and a biblical figure usually associated with sin becomes a source of magical power.
Absolutely. It's making us rethink our assumptions and look at these ancient stories and figures in a new way.
Yeah.
And what's even more intriguing is how it uses these seemingly different elements to create a cohesive system of magic.
So what can we say about the people who actually created and used this Psalter?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were their beliefs?
Where were
What's
they
searching for?
Well, based on what you've shared,
Yeah.
they seem to have been deeply connected to the natural world, revering Cain as a figure who understood the hidden powers of the earth, the moon and the forge.
Okay.
They valued personal experience and individual journeys,
Right.
seeing magic as a way to tap into these primal forces.
It's like they were creating their own mythology,
Yeah.
their own spiritual path outside of traditional religion. They weren't afraid to embrace the darkness, the forbidden, the things society might have rejected.
Yeah,
And they saw power in those things in the exile, the curse, the forgotten.
it's true.
Which brings us back to that central question.
Okay.
What makes Cain such a compelling figure for them?
It's his very otherness,
Yeah.
his outsider status,
Right.
that makes him so potent.
Mm-hmm.
He dared to defy to forge his own path,
Yeah.
even if it meant being cast out.
Right.
He represents the individual seeking knowledge and power outside the accepted norms.
And in a way, isn't that what the Psalter itself is doing?
It is.
It's taking fragments of different traditions and forging them into something new, something unique and powerful.
Exactly. It's a testament to the human capacity for creativity and innovation, even within magic and spirituality.
Okay, before we get too carried away with our forging metaphors, we've got a couple of rituals in the Psalter we haven't even touched on yet.
We do?
The Cup of First Murder and the Golden Ossuary.
Yes. The Cup of First Murder offering sounds quite evocative, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the Golden Ossuary seems to be all about connecting with ancestors and assuming this atavistic continuum. We definitely need more time to delve into those.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
They point to even deeper layers of meaning and practice within this Cainite tradition.
All right. Looks like we've got our work cut out for us.
It seems that way.
But I'm excited to see what other secrets we can unlock. Stick with us, because this deep dive is just getting started.
Yes, it is. Let's dive into that Cup of First Murder offering now.
Great.
It's connected to this idea of the mystery, the red and the green,
Right.
and presented as a ritual offering.
Yeah, the imagery is really striking.
It is.
It starts with visualizing a single drop of blood
Okay.
falling from a blade onto an altar stone. Then that drop becomes a stream,
Right.
a river,
Wow.
turning a barren wilderness into a lush paradise. What do you think this visualization is trying to convey?
Well, it's a powerful image that points to the idea of blood as a life-giving force.
Yeah.
Not just literally,
Right,
but
yeah.
symbolically.
Yeah.
It's about the potential for transformation, for creation, even within an act of violence.
And then this bone cup appears, filled with this red vintage. It's
Wow.
like the blood has transformed into this sacred wine, this elixir of life.
And you, the practitioner, are invited to drink from this cup
Ah.
to internalize this transformative power.
A symbolic act, of course,
Right.
using actual wine.
Yeah.
But the meaning is clear.
Right.
You're partaking in this mystery of blood and sacrifice, connecting with something ancient and powerful.
And the prayer that follows really emphasizes that.
It does.
May the deed of this murder bring forth paradise in the midst of the wilderness. It's like they're saying even in the darkest acts,
Yeah.
there's potential for creation, for redemption.
It circles back to that Cainite mythos, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Cain, the first murderer, is also the one who brings forth life from the barren earth. He's both destroyer and creator. And the practitioner, through this ritual, aligns themselves with that duality.
This idea that even the first murder could be a source of creation is unsettling,
Yeah,
but it also feels strangely profound.
it does.
It makes me think about the ways that destruction and creation are intertwined in all aspects of life.
Absolutely. This tradition isn't for the faint of heart.
Right.
It's demanding, challenging.
But it also offers a profound depth of meaning and experience.
Speaking of profound, let's move on to the Golden Ossuary.
Okay.
This one seems to be about tapping into ancestral power,
Yes.
connecting with the lineage of Cain himself.
It's described as an assumption of the atavistic continuum.
Right.
And it starts with this image of a bone effigy surrounded by lamps in a field of the dead.
Okay.
It's got that wonderfully Gothic feel we've come to expect from the Psalter.
This imagery of the black stone amidst the white earth is so vivid.
It is.
Do you think it's meant to be taken literally like a physical location?
That's a good question.
Or is it more of a symbolic representation of the ancestral realm?
It's a great question. The ritual involves invoking the spirits of the ancestors, the hooded ones.
Right.
And it's not just about remembering them.
Okay.
It's about embodying their power, becoming the living flesh of Holy Cain.
And there's this detail where the practitioner presses the effigy to their forehead, right, where the hidden eye would be.
Right.
It's almost like they're trying to activate some kind of inner vision to see through the eyes of their ancestors.
It's a fascinating concept that suggests this tradition places a high value on ancestral knowledge.
Yeah.
On the wisdom passed down through generations.
And then there's the offering of both blood and seed to the effigy.
Yes.
It's like they're trying to create a physical and spiritual connection to this ancestral line.
They invoke both Cain and Elwan, his wife, which suggests a balance of masculine and feminine energies in this tradition.
And that final prayer about the golden plot being sealed really gives a sense of completion of integrating those ancestral energies into the self.
It's like the practitioner becomes a living vessel for this lineage, this atavistic continuum carrying the torch for this ancient Cainite tradition.
It's not just about the past, though, is it?
Right.
It seems like by connecting with these ancestral energies, the practitioner is also shaping the future of the tradition.
Exactly. It's about honoring the past while forging a new path forward.
You know, it's amazing how much depth there is to unpack in just these two rituals.
It is.
They're like microcosms of the Psalter's overall themes of transformation, duality, and this unique blend of magic and myth.
What I find striking is the emphasis on personal experience, on actively participating in these rituals. It's not about blindly following dogma. It's about engaging with powerful forces and forging your own connection to the divine, even through the darkness and the unknown.
And the language itself is so evocative.
It is,
So visceral. It pulls you into this world of blood and bone and ancient power.
It's almost poetic, wouldn't you say? And it speaks to the power of language to shape our experience, to connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
It's making me want to dig even deeper into the Psalter and see what other gems we can uncover.
Me too.
We haven't even touched on the birthright of Gnosis yet.
Oh, that's right. And the 9 waymarks of the pole star, which sounds absolutely fascinating.
They both seem to offer unique insights into how this tradition viewed spiritual initiation and the pursuit of esoteric knowledge.
Yes. It seems like we still have a lot to explore in this Psalter.
All right, so we've definitely got our work cut out for us.
We do.
But I'm eager to dive back in.
Me too.
Stay tuned, because this deep dive isn't over yet. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and explore the birthright of Gnosis. The name itself seems to suggest a process of transformation, spiritual awakening. What do you make of that?
It definitely sets the stage for something significant. And the ritual space adds to that feeling. Either a circle in the greenwood with that ancient primal vibe, or near a burial mound evoking the mysteries of the underworld. It's as if the setting itself prepares the practitioner for a journey into the depths of their being.
And speaking of journeys, the ritual starts with a very deliberate procession. The seeker walks around the space 3 times. First Widdershins, then Diosil, then Widdershins again, striking the earth with their staff. There's that emphasis on directionality again, almost like they're weaving a pattern of energy with their movements.
Exactly. And the triple repetition, moving in both directions, creates a kind of energetic container for the work that's about to unfold.
Then there's the triple invocation. Quain the Father, Lilia, the Mother, and the Holy Spirit of the hidden intercessor.
Yes. That's crucial. It invokes a trinity of forces.
The
masculine, the feminine, and this mysterious third element, the hidden intercessor. It's another example of the Psalter blending and reinterpreting elements from different traditions.
So it's not a purely dualistic system. They acknowledge this third force, something mediating between those polarities. It's interesting that they connect the hidden intercessor with the Holy Spirit, a concept borrowed from Christianity but given this distinctly Cainite twist.
Then there's the marking of the self with ash and soil, using a foxfoot. which feels very earthy, very connected to the natural world.
And that sigil, trace on the forehead, an upright eye, suggests a connection to inner vision, to esoteric knowledge. It's like they're opening the eye of the soul to see beyond ordinary reality.
Yeah.
What do you think about the chant that goes with it?
Okay.
Taloshaza, Zarana, Zazaz. It almost feels like a language of power.
It does.
Something to shift consciousness.
It's intriguing that the Psalter uses these mysterious words.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if they were meant to be understood literally, or if their power lies in their sound and the way they feel when spoken aloud.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe.
But it's clear they're meant to have a powerful effect, both on the practitioner and the surrounding energies.
Absolutely. And then we come to the heart of the ritual.
Okay.
The invocation of the primordial man and woman, conjoined by the serpent thread of blood.
That's a potent image.
It is.
It speaks to that Cainite theme of duality, of masculine and feminine forces intertwined.
Yeah.
But there's also the serpent, which has all sorts of symbolic connotations.
Right.
Wisdom, knowledge, transformation.
And in the biblical story, it's the serpent who tempts Eve with the fruit of knowledge.
Right.
So there's that subtle link to forbidden knowledge, to transgression, which is so central to the Cainite mythos.
Right. It's like they're reclaiming that act of transgression.
Exactly.
Reframing it as a necessary step on the path to gnosis.
Then there's the powerful act of self-marking with the Arthena, cutting the sigil of Cain into the palm and pressing the bleeding hand to the forehead.
Wow.
A visceral, physical act of dedication to this path.
And the words that go with it are so powerful.
They are.
By this mark, self-born. It's a declaration of independence, of self-creation, almost a rejection of any external authority.
Exactly. It's about claiming one's own power, one's own lineage outside of traditional religion or societal norms.
It's interesting that the ritual ends not with a grand finale, but with a call to private meditation.
Right.
To abiding within the endless moment of becoming.
Yeah.
Like the true transformation happens not in the ritual itself, but in the quiet moments afterward.
It's about integrating those powerful energies, allowing them to take root and blossom within.
It reminds us that true spiritual growth is an ongoing process, a journey that unfolds over time.
Yes.
Speaking of journeys, we should move on to the 9 waymarks of the pole star.
Okay.
This one takes us on a celestial quest, guiding the practitioner toward a deeper understanding of their connection to the cosmos.
This ritual has a really interesting setup.
Okay.
With 2 intersecting circles.
Right.
The circle of Earth marked by 9 stones, and the circle of stars defined only by powders.
It's a beautiful visualization that speaks to the idea of bridging the earthly and the celestial, of connecting with the cosmic forces that influence our lives.
And the unblessed stone, the point where the circles intersect, is like the gateway between these realms.
And it's positioned in the northeast, the direction of the pole star.
Right.
Which represents a fixed point in the night sky, a symbol of guidance and stability.
It's as if they're using this celestial alignment to create a portal, an opening to higher realms.
Then there's the necklace of 9 knots, representing the practitioner's personal journey, their path to gnosis.
Each knot symbolizes a stage of initiation, a step towards enlightenment. Placing the necklace on the unblessed stone before entering the circle feels like a symbolic surrender to this process, letting go of ego and control.
And the ritual unfolds in stages, with each stone in the circle of earth representing a specific virtue or quality associated with Cain.
As the practitioner moves from stone to stone, lighting a lantern on each one, they're also working their way up the necklace knot by not drawing closer to that final illumination.
It's like they're literally and symbolically ascending, moving from the earthly to the celestial, from darkness to light.
And then there's that pivotal moment where they stand on the unblessed stone, facing the circle of stars, and focus their attention on the pole star. It's a moment of intense concentration, seeking that inner spark of divine connection.
This idea of seeing the pole star within yourself is almost like a meditation technique, right?
It is.
Focusing your awareness on a fixed point in the sky to connect with something deeper within.
It's a beautiful metaphor for self-realization, for recognizing the divine spark within. But it's not just a solitary experience.
Right.
The practitioner achieves this inner vision.
Yeah.
They return to the circle of earth and share the waters of the moon with the rest of the group.
Okay.
It's a moment of communion, of celebrating this collective journey.
It highlights the importance of community, of supporting each other on this path.
Yeah.
And finally, they bind the right extinguishing the lanterns and the fires symbolizing the integration of those celestial energies back into the earth.
It's a reminder that true magic is about balancing light and shadow, the celestial and the earthly, the individual and the collective.
So this Psalter is much more than just a collection of spells. It paints a picture of a magical tradition that reveres Cain as a powerful figure who embraced exile and forged his own path to knowledge. And it's fascinating how they've woven together these different threads of folklore and ritual practice.
What strikes me is the emphasis on personal experience and the individual journey. The Psalter doesn't offer easy answers, but it encourages us to actively seek knowledge and forge our own connection to the divine, even through the darkness and the unknown.
I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling inspired to learn more about the symbolism and the practices described in this Psalter. It's a reminder that magic, myth, and history are often intertwined in ways we might not expect. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Psalter of Cain.